recording, I'm going to help get this building UV mapped correctly. So I'm looking through here, and looks like a lot of this hasn't been UV mapped, so it's not a big deal. Just need to spend some time looking at this and making sure this stuff lays flat. So the windows, these are fantastic to UV map to make them look realistic. You can actually go online and find images for this. So let's go ahead and get started because we don't have a lot of time. What I'm going to do is, looks like they're all the same. So what I'm going to do is just go to, make sure you're in modeling mode, go to UVs, and we're going to go to planar, go to dialog box. Make sure, keep image ratio, make sure it's through camera, not through the axis, and whatever camera means, whatever viewpoint you're in, will UV map. So we're going to go ahead and hit project, and boom, there we are. We have the UV mapping for this. I'll show you in just a second after we get this done, and we can bring this to Photoshop, and I'll have another tutorial. I'll show you how to get this all going for. But for this one, let's go ahead and just try to get all the UV maps kind of flat so we can start UV mapping. So we just did a planar. I'm going to hit G, and that'll do the same thing for each one of these. I'm going to object mode, hit G, and it looks like these are all the same model. So hopefully they'll sit in the same UV map. So we can actually put, once we get this in Photoshop, you can see all these are the same. Once we get this into Photoshop, they should all line up correctly. Alright, boom, there we are. We're all done with the windows. We could get a little bit fancy with them and do the sides and tops and so forth. But if we do kind of a white trim, or whatever color, yellow or something like that, they'll bend around. No one's going to get up that close because we're going to be looking at it from a street view. Alright, so here we've got the guardrails, and it looks like these are all separate parts. Let's see. Alright, so no big deal. What I'm going to do is do a marquee and grab them all together and then make them into one object. That'll make it easier. So let's see what they look like as UVs. Okay, so I gotta have one selected, and so these are not showing up at all as a UV. So these definitely need to be UV mapped. No texture will sit on there. Looks like you have a black blend or something on there, which is fine. So let's go ahead and do a marquee. Let's try to grab them all. Okay, and you see I didn't grab them all, so I'm just going to hold down my shift, grab the rest of them. Okay, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and go to edit or mesh and hit combine. And so next time I grab them, they're all together. I'm going to go ahead and also go delete by type history. You'll notice all that modeling you've done. Let me hit Apple Z. Let's see if I can pull this down. Well, anyways, there would have been a lot of history there. So delete by type history, and kind of do that with everything else. Also, it looks like you may have done that already. Just a good practice. All right, so this looks like these are doors. Same thing. We need to UV map those. These are easy. It looks like kind of a 2-panel door. I can't tell. You may want to slide that over a little bit if these are 2 doors. I can't tell if that's a sliding door, but anyways, let's go to front view, and we're going to do our planar mapping. UV planar, boom, and then we're going to go to the other door, hit G, planar, and it looks like it's the same door. Yeah, same exact door. So these UV maps are the same. All right, so far we've already got almost a third of it UV mapped. Now we didn't do the guardrail, so all we have to do for that, we're just putting a rusty texture on that. So we're just going to go to UV. We're going to do automatic. We don't have to go in there. No one's going to see that. So this is automatic. You don't always want to do this, but it takes all those sides and does it for you. This is not the most ideal way to do it, but for this is perfect because you're just trying to put a little bit of rust, a little patina on the metal. So you definitely want to download some sort of texture. All right, so let's look at the buildings. Okay, so these are, looks like these are the same. Just looks like you've duplicated them up. So let's just go ahead. Face. Now I'm going to do one of these, and hopefully you'll get the idea and do the rest. So again, we'll do UV planar. We'll zoom out. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going to go right-click UV, marquee over that, what we just UV'd. We'll hit W and pull this over to the side. Now, we do need to go to our side view on this. Let's see if we can get to a side view. Okay, we can't get to a side view, but we can go to a top view. So I want to go to top view, face. And luckily you have those dots. That really makes it a little bit easier to grab these guys. So grab those. I want to zoom in here and see what we got. Alright, so that front projection mapping covered all these. I'm not worried about that. Just worried about my top and my bottom. So the bottom you can't see unless I go to 4 mode. So that's perfect. We just want to grab the top and the bottom. Now if we had more overhang here, we would have done a top view on those, but I think the front projection will work fine for that. Let's go to our top view. We're going to go UV planar. And we're going to right click UV. Marquee that, hit W, pull that off to the side. All right, one last thing, we're going to do our side. And I'll go ahead and just do a marquee. And good thing you have those dots on. If you don't have those dots on, we go to Windows, Settings, Preferences. And if those dots aren't showing up, and maybe showing up on my end, maybe not on yours, we go to Selection. And right here, go from whole to center. And I like center because you can grab those dots. All right, so you saw that I just did a marquee, all of those sides here. So now we're going to go to side view, hit F, and then we'll just do a UV planar, and go like that. And we're going to pull this off. Whatever you do, don't lay it on top of here and let go. It'll be permanently there. So now what we're going to do is try to squeeze all this together. Go ahead and rotate that. Okay, so probably no one's ever going to see the top and bottom view. So I'm going to squeeze that in and kind of fit that under this overhang. All right. Now, if we were going to see that a lot, I would be a little bit more concerned. We're also going to squeeze this down because a lot of people aren't going to see that. Actually, let's keep that proportion. So one of the things that issues that you had with yours is your stuff wasn't showing up proportionately. So you want to make sure the height of this is the same as your front view. All right, so that way when you put your textures, everything looks correct. All right, so you want to bump this tightly, but do not lay them on top of each other because that'll cause some issues. So I'll lay that over here, hit R, squeeze it in, and what we're trying to do is get it as big as possible in here. And it's kind of difficult to get it on there, but don't go any bigger. It'll repeat itself and cause some issues. All right, so that's pretty good. I need to squeeze in just by a hair. There we go, we're done. All right, so I'm not going to do the other ones here. I think you can figure out the rest. You can probably, looks like you can just probably duplicate these if you don't want to UV map each one. So actually that's what I'm going to do for you. Just go ahead, go like that. To my front view. I'll delete the old one, take the new one, scooch it over, and Command D, pull that down. Okay. Delete the old one. This one has a UV map. You can see. Pull that out. So don't overdo it. Just you know, cut corners because you've already done it. So don't UV map it again. Pull that into place and just again double check that it's UV. All right. So it's looking pretty good. We've got the top two floors done. All right. So now we just need to keep going down to the bottom. It looks like there's the same door down here. All right. Select it. And now it looks like those are multiple parts. Can't tell. Okay, excellent. There's a door handle. That's pretty cool. All right, so what I would do is just marquee everything, which is going to excellently grab the background. And we're going to go mesh, combine. We're going to do that same over here. Hit G, mesh, combine. And I'm just going to go to my front view, F. And I'm going to do a planar, and I'll just do a front. Since it's very flat, again, we're not going to walk up to it. We're just going to do a really quick planar map with this also. Boom. Just like that. Now you do have a door frame there that's nice, but on the next one, I want you guys to, next one I'll show you how to UV map it in Photoshop so we have a little bit more color and so forth. We can probably find a door very similar to that. Has a kind of a look to it. Alright, so we're getting there. We're almost done with UV mapping this. Alright, so let's go ahead and select the columns. Looks like you did a cylindrical. Almost there. Looks like you almost got it. But we need to get all of that to fit inside of that square. So squeeze it in. And I always just bump it in just a little bit. That little X right there, you need to make sure you pull that in. Doesn't have to be sitting, just needs to kind of sit back in there. Alright. So again, once you've done one, just duplicate that one and bring it over. Pull that over. That's a nice looking column. And I'm going to delete the old one. You can tell it's the old one because it has the bad UV. Not bad, but this one's a little bit tidier. Alright, same thing here. Command D. So don't make yourself work any harder than you have to. You've already done it. Just rinse and repeat. Pull this over. Doing this pretty quickly. Okay, almost done. So let's go ahead. I think these are same as the top, or is a little bit different. Okay, so we've got. Oh wow, interesting. Okay, I see. All right, so let's just do the same thing. We're going to just do one, duplicate it over. We're going to do a face, select them all, go to our front view, and we're going to do a planar mapping. Okay, right-click UV, grab that, hit W, and move this off to the side. Just like that. All right, and then UV face. And go to my side view, hit 4. So try to grab that top one. No one's ever going to see this bottom because it's on the ground, but I just did a marquee over that. I'm going to zoom in. And we'll deselect this guy right here. This guy too. Alright, so I'm going to do a top view. UV. Planar. And yeah, push comes to shove, I can help you out with these. Alright, so you can see this is kind of not straight. I'm not sure if your model is turned or what's going on, but you can clean this up by selecting it and doing this. So just going to clean it up just because you want them nice and straight for Maya. Alright, we're done there. You can see your model's way off here. I'm not sure. Maybe I want to clean that up before you get any further, but it's fine. All right, so what we are doing now is do a side view. Let's go to side view. So I'm actually going to pull this out because you definitely want to put these in layers so you can work on it. Right now it's kind of difficult. W, pull this out so we can see it from a side view a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to go wireframe 4. Go to face. Okay, I want to just do a marquee. Be very gentle on the very top one. Don't grab that top one. Okay, so we go to side view. We do a planar. Alright, again, pull that information off to the side. W. Alright, it's looking good so far. So the last thing we need to do is arch. So this may be a little bit of a pain, so I'm actually just going to do it very simply. Actually go to side view. Just going to marquee those, and I'm pretty sure those are just arch. Alright, so I'm going to go to top view. There's probably several ways it is when I go to top view. Planar. Okay. Sure, to select that. Alright, let's do that again. For some reason it didn't work. Okay, we got a face. Marquee those. And I might try something real quick. I'm going to try cylindrical mapping. Let's see what happens. UV, cylindrical. Oh, it's not going to work. Alright, so we're just going to have to go top view. Let's try it again. UV, planar. Okay, and I'm going to go UV, select those. Alright, so this one's a little bit different. Well, we do want to spend a little bit of time in spreading these out. So we're just going to kind of do it by eye. We want to just kind of spread these out because these are evenly, but since we looked at them from a top view, they're getting scrunched. So just spread these out. Especially these last two because you don't want it to skew. Alright, just like so. You could do it by eye. Probably a way of doing it mathematically, but we're just trying to get these done. Excellent. Alright, so we are done. We're finally done with this guy. Alright, so now what we got to do is shove all the bits and pieces together. I try to do it outside here. Again, you want to keep your proportions. Let's just squeeze it down so it's the same. You'll notice this is a little bit taller. Again, squeeze it down so the same proportions. Okay, and then you could probably override each other, but just try to keep them the same proportions. Alright, so this one could be squeezed down big time. Alright, so it's the same width as this one. So this width should be the same as width. So squeeze it down. I think you're probably getting the idea now. Alright, so get all those to fit together. Try to pack them in as best you can. Do not go over. If you do, you have to redo the whole thing. Keep them separated. Okay, hit R. Squeeze this down. Okay. Use Alt to get in there. Hit R, squeeze these down. Alright. Again, your model's way off here. Maybe spend a couple minutes and let's go vertex and clean this up. This won't affect your UV mapping. It'll look the same, just not sure what happened here. Right, so I don't know if that fixed it or made it worse. So, but in my eyes, it made it look better because you had it kind of doing some weird things. All right, so just gonna shove this back into the spot. We hit 5 so I can see what's going on. Alright, pull this out to here. I do have these sitting on top of each other, which would cause a flicker in Unity. So just go ahead and keep them above each other like that. Don't try to overlay them. That's going to cause some issues, but that's all right for now. I hit Apple D. Okay, I want to grab the bad one, double check it. That's the bad UV. Hit delete, and I'll pull this over. All right, again, be aware that you don't want a flicker, so you're definitely try to push this one back or something like that so it doesn't flicker. Alright, so everything's UV except for that. I'm going to let you do that one just based on what we did on the front one. Good luck. I will save this and I'll continue with another second tutorial at lunch covering this one and then how to bring this out into Photoshop. So I think you've got 4 buildings. I think you've got the principles of how to do this. If you have trouble, I can help you out with the rest of them. To UV map them doesn't take me that long, but I want you to give it a shot during class. Good luck.